Hey, what's up adventurers, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be about ghosts and whether or not Dogo Argentinos are vocal animals. So kind of like my wolf dog one, this is going to be a really random video that maybe you didn't really think about, but maybe it's in the back of your mind, like, you know what, are Dogo Argentinos vocal? And I'm going to go ahead and break it down into 4 segments, okay? So let's get started. The first segment I'm going to talk about is, does he howl? I'm just going to go in the same order I did with the other video. Do Dogo Argentinos howl? You're going to probably be surprised about this, but Dogo Argentinos have a beautiful howl. You know, I never expected this. I'm not going to lie, I never expected him to have such a gentle, curious howl. It's very like sad, you know, he sounds sad when he's howling, almost like if he's crying in the back of his head. So Ghost definitely is the singer, I'm not gonna lie. He can pull some of the female dogs in with that howl. It sounds nice, it's gentle, it's super random. I'm not gonna lie, it sounds scary at night when you're sleeping and the sirens, you know, the cars pass by, the police, the ambulances, fire trucks, whatever, maybe they pass by in the distance and Ghost hears them and he starts howling, and I'll wake up and I'm like, what in the world is that? Like, there's a demon in my restroom or something. No, it's Ghost howling in the kitchen or in the living room because that's where his cage is. And yeah, you know what, Dogo Argentinos do howl randomly, you know, and very gentle howl, not intense, not crazy. So now number 2, do they bark? Obviously I've already kind of talked about this in my other video, but yeah, they do bark. They're not an obsessive barker, kind of like shepherds are. You know, maybe you've seen some German shepherds. They kind of bark a lot. They run around the fences and they give like these really fast barks over and over again. You know, Ghost, more of a calm barker, not as intense. You know, he does bark once. Again, this is because I've corrected him in the point where he's barking when we're walking, and I correct that. You know, I'm not okay with him barking while he's on the leash with me. I try to make it to where he ignores dogs, but you know, if there's a dog maybe outside and he sees him through the fence or something, he does bark. Not an obsessive bark, like I've said. It's not like him trying to like bark, you know, like kind of like that. No, it's just him like barking and kind of staring. You know, what am I, the thing I'm barking at, where is it, and is it leaving, is it coming towards us? If it's coming towards us, yeah, then the bark gets a little bit more intense. But German shepherds, they kind of bark the same way, even if from what I've seen at least, is that they kind of bark even if the intruder of the dog is far away, and the intensity kind of matches. The intensity kind of remains the same. Now, for me, my personal experience with Ghost is that it's more like the closer it is, the more intense the bark, and the farther it is, the more like, sometimes he wouldn't even bark. Sometimes there's a cat, he just kind of stares and he's just like, what the hell, you know, he starts foaming or whatever. Cat leaves, doesn't bark at all. Maybe somebody walks by, he kind of just perks up, stares at them, walks by. And this usually happens in my porch because sometimes I go outside with them there and we start like playing. If maybe it's raining in the back, the porch is a good way for them to kind of use up some energy while we're playing, doing some tricks, whatever. And yeah, there's a lot of distractions sometimes because the park is nearby, people are walking, people are riding bikes, blah 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 blah. Ghost most of the time just stares, doesn't really bark. Now when there's something outside in the backyard, maybe something's making noise, maybe something's catching his interest, there's definitely going to be barking in there. You know, he's barking at them, he's trying to let them know, but again, he has those very deep barks, very deep, lower tone barks, you know, coming from the chest, you know, really come from the chest. He has a big chest too, so yeah. Very good form of intimidation, and like I said again, does bark, not as intense as shepherds, more of a visual watcher. He's kind of like seeing what's happening. They're really good at assessing the situation. They're not just gonna jump into something and start barking. They kind of more like, okay, oh, I see what's going on. That's the type of dogs that the Dogo Argentinos are, at least maybe with my experience with Ghost. So number 3 is gonna be growling. Does he growl? Ghost definitely does growl. I think that when you compare the growling to the barking, the growling is kind of like higher in the intensity, right? Very, very, again, from the chest, deep, low tone growls. And I said this in my last video. I don't know, maybe you guys saw that one, maybe not, because if you're watching this one, maybe you're more interested in the Dogo Argentinos. But essentially what happens is that Ghost growls from like here, and then his volume goes up. It kind of goes up like this, and then it hits a bark. Very common. It's usually what he does all the time. So it kind of starts off low, like, and it gets higher, 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 bark. And I think that's might be persistent. I don't know. That's my experience with him. Again, I'm just trying to make this video fun, something different, something interesting that maybe you guys can get some out of it. And yeah, you know, very intimidating growl again with dogs. Strong power behind it as well, just like in the bark. That bark at the end of the growl lets dogs know, like, this is a line and this is where I don't want you to cross. I'm warning you, I'm growling at you, and I'm barking at you. Stay away. And I think that's good, you know. I think that the dog should be vocal. I would rather have a vocal dog indicating that that's where his boundary is than a dog that maybe doesn't say anything and then something worse happens, you know what I mean? With that being said, let's go into the fourth one. I really think that this type of topic shifts between dogs and not so much dog breeds. Now, does he cry? You know, is he whimper? Does he get sad if I leave? Yeah, Ghost definitely is more attached to me than, or attached to people than Fen is, in the sense that he doesn't want to be alone. He wants to be with somebody. So like, if I go into my room and he's in the hallway, he'll sit outside my door and he starts crying. Like, he just cries and cries. And he wants to be with me, or he wants to be with somebody. And once I open the door, it's like I've been gone for like years. He's just wagging his tail and he's like jumping and, you know, doing circles and stuff. I want to say that this is not across the board with Dogo Argentinos. I think this is more like certain pups in the litter. Maybe they have more separation anxiety than other dogs, you know what I mean? Don't take this into maybe a Dogo Argentino aspect, but I'm being honest with you guys. Maybe it is, and maybe people don't want to talk about that side of the Dogo Argentino, because they are very, Mastiffs in general are very homey dogs. You know, they love their pack. They want to be with their humans. They want to be with you. They want to like sit on you with their 100-pound body and just get cuddles. That is the type of dogs they are. Maybe it's more common. Maybe people just don't talk about it, or maybe some Dogo Argentinos just grew up more alone and they're okay with it. You know, I guess Ghost grew up with me always there, and me and my friends and my roommates, you know, we've always been with Ghost. Maybe that affected him, and now he's kind of feels weird when he's alone, you know. Not to the point where it's separation anxiety 24/7. You know, right now they're in the backyard just chilling. It's like 50 degrees outside, so I have a sweater. 50 degrees outside. They're just outside laying down. He's sunbathing. Doesn't cry at all. Doesn't cry when I leave to work. Doesn't cry a lot of times, but there is moments where he just does cry. Something to consider is that maybe, you know, the attachment that they have with you might cause them to whimper and cry a little bit due to that separation from their owners or from anybody, really. Except even the dogs. Yeah, even the dogs. He does cry when the two dogs are outside. Maybe he's inside and giving him his space. You know, I like to switch around. Maybe have two dogs outside, maybe two in the cage, one out by himself, making sure he's just getting his alone time. Every day we try to do this, and even then he cries, and I'm just like, you want to go outside with the dogs, or do you want to be with me, you know? I don't think that this is across the board for all Dogo Argentinos, but I do think it's worth mentioning, because maybe it could be a small little factor, right? Maybe there is something with some dogos that this pops up in. But, and you know what, if you have a Dogo Argentino and he does the same thing, go ahead and put that below. That'll help. Or maybe your Dogo Argentino is completely different. Maybe he loves being alone. You don't even know he's there, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't care. That would help us too. You know, that helps me learn and be like, you know what, yeah, this is more of a ghost thing, okay? So, if you guys enjoyed the video, please go ahead and leave a comment down below. Don't forget to paw that like button. And please hit the subscribe button. We have 92% people who watch my videos are not subscribed. We can get that number down. It'll really help the channel. And once again, nothing but peace and love from my pack to yours.